Now broadcasting from beautiful downtown Tallahassee, it's Classic Movie Reviews with Snark.
Welcome to today's show. My name is John. As always, you can subscribe to the show on iTunes or follow the links to social media in the podcast show notes. You can also go to snarkymoviereviews.com to read notes, bios, and other random movie thoughts. Remember, this show is completely free and independent. All I ask is that you jump over to iTunes and give me a review. With today's film, we are going to jump heavily into film noir.
And now back to 1943's fast-talking High Trousers.
Well, isn't this a fine song and dance?
What are you getting so hot about?
Keep your shirt on.
Where do you get off making remarks like that?
Supposing I say you're a lunkhead.
Well, I ain't much for supposing.
Well, supposing you were.
Well, maybe I'm through supposing and I'm fixed to start figuring.
Horseradish.
Well, aren't you a pocket full of firecrackers?
Oh, yeah? You got something to say about it?
I'll say plenty.
Today's movie is The Big Combo 1955, and it has a lot of noir power and actors. Many of the actors we have already covered, so I'll jump right in with them. J. Adler played the role of Detective Sam Hill, assistant to Lieutenant Diamond. We covered Adler in episode 38, 99 River Street, 1953. Michael Mark had a very small role as Fred, the hotel clerk. Mark was covered in episode 46, The Wasp Woman, 1959. Lee Van Cleef played the role of small-time gangster Fanty. Van Cleef was covered in episode 66, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, 1962. John Hoyt played Niles Dreyer, former boat captain and antique store owner. Hoyt was covered in episode 35, Blackboard Jungle, 1955. Whit Bissell, the man who is in everything, is in the credits for this movie, but his scenes were cut. Cornell Wilde played the lead role of Police Lieutenant Leonard Diamond. Wilde was born in Hungary in 1912. In 1920, the family moved to New York City. He began working the theaters. Wilde was on the U.S. Olympic fencing team but quit before the 1936 Berlin Olympics. Wilde got a role on Broadway and served as the fencing choreography in Laurence Olivier's 1940 Broadway Romeo and Juliet. From this role, he was taken to Hollywood, where he had a few small roles before undertaking an Oscar-nominated role in A Song to Remember 1945 as Frederick Chopin. All through the 1940s, he played the role of swashbucklers in movies like Forever Amber 1947. Other important movies include The Greatest Show on Earth 1952, The Big Combo 1955. One of his greatest roles was in The Naked Prey 1965, where he produced, starred, and directed. We should never forget the TV movie Gargoyles 1972. He died in 1989 at the age of 77. Brian Dunleavy played the role of Joe McClure, the former boss that had lost command. What a life! Dunleavy lied and joined the Army when he was 14. He ended up in Mexico under General John J. Blackjack Pershing, fighting against Pancho Villa in the Mexican Revolution. Dunleavy later served as a pilot in the Lafayette Escadrille during World War I. He spent 2 years at the Naval Academy before giving up the military life for acting. Dunleavy had many stage roles before heading to Hollywood to work in silent films. His first film was A Man of Quality, 1926. His first talkie was Gentleman of the Press, 1929. Dunleavy had a 5 to 6 year dry spell before returning for Mary Burns' Fugitive, 1935, Another Face, 1935, and Barbary Coast, 1935. He started getting roles as a tough guy. He made a total of 89 films. Some of his better-known roles are The Sadistic Sergeant in Beau Guest, 1939, The Great McGinty, 1940, Wake Island, 1942, Hangmen Also Die, 1943, The Miracle of Morgan's Creek, 1944, Kiss of Death, 1947, Dangerous Assignment, 1952, and The Big Combo, 1955. He died in 1972. Jean Wallace played the role of Susan Loyal, a former good girl now under the control of an evil mobster. Wallace was a teen model that got caught in a lie about her age after appearing in Ziegfeld Girl 1941. She got a 6-month contract with Paramount where she was in Louisiana Purchase 1941. Wallace then signed a 5-year contract with 20th Century Fox, but her career slumped after she refused Kiss of Death 1947. The private part of her life sounds like a screenplay. In 1941, she took up with Joan Crawford's ex, Francois Tone. Tone was twice her age. Wallace and Tone had a 7-year marriage where Wallace tried to kill herself twice. The first was in 1946 by pills, and the second was in 1949 by stabbing herself in the stomach. In the divorce, she lost custody of her 2 children and was accused of being in a relationship with a gangster. She married a soldier in 1950, but it was annulled after 5 months. In 1951, Wallace married actor and director Cornell Wilde. Wilde began to manage her career. She acted opposite Wilde in B movies, with the big combo 1955 considered to be the best. Other movies in this run include Maracaibo 1958, where Wallace was an ice-cold journalist in a love triangle with Wilde as a Red Adair type, Star of India 1954, Beach Red 1967, Sword of Lancelot 1963, and Wilde's No Blade of Grass 1970, in which a family escapes from a post-apocalyptic world much like The Omega Man 1971 or I Am Legend 2007. Wallace divorced Wilde in 1980, and afterwards she lived with a large number of pets. She died in 1990. Robert Middleton played the role of Police Captain Peterson, the boss of Lieutenant Diamond. Middleton was a rather large, beetle-browed actor who played vicious villains. That's easy to say. Middleton attended the University of Cincinnati and the Carnegie Institute of Technology. He was active in radio because of his rich voice. In the 1950s, he moved to Broadway and then eventually to film. His evil image came from his appearance in The Desperate Hours 1955 as a killer, The Court Jester 1955 as a foreboding knight intent on killing Danny Kaye's character in the famous Pellet with the Poison bit.
Just pray that I die bravely.
You'll not die. You'll not have to fight him. Griswold dies as he drinks the toast.
What?
Listen, I have put a pellet of poison in one of the vessels.
Which one?
The one with the figure of a pestle.
The vessel with the pestle?
Yes, but you don't want the vessel with the pestle. You want the chalice from the palace.
I don't want the vessel with the pestle. I want the chalice from the what?
The chalice from the palace. It's a little crystal chalice with the figure of a palace.
Does the chalice from the palace have the pellet with the poison?
No, the pellet with the poison's in the vessel with the pestle.
Oh, the pestle with the vessel.
The vessel with the pestle.
What about the palace from the chalice?
Not the palace from the chalice from the palace.
Where's the pellet with the poison?
In the vessel with the pestle.
Don't you see? The pellet with the poison's in the vessel with the pestle.
The chalice from the palace has the brew that is true.
So easy, I can say it.
Well, then you fight him.
Listen carefully. The pellet with the poison's in the vessel with the pestle. The chalice from the palace has the brew that is true.
Oh, the pellet with the poison's in the vessel with the pestle. The chalice from the palace has the brew that is true.
Good man.
Just remember that.
In Friendly Persuasion 1956, Love Me Tender 1956 with Elvis Presley, and as a sinister politician in The Lincoln Conspiracy 1977. In between, he appeared in a variety of roles. Middleton died of heart failure at the age of 66. Richard Conte played Mr. Brown, a sinister, driven gangster. Conte was born in New Jersey in 1910. One of the jobs he had was as a singing waiter in Connecticut. This led to stage work in 1935 after he was spotted by Elia Kazan and John Garfield. After studying at the neighborhood playhouse, Conte got a job on Broadway in 1939. His first film was Heaven with a Barbed Wire Fence, 1939. Conte became a big star during World War II when many male actors were away in the military. During the war, Conte appeared in films like Guadalcanal Diary, 1943, The Purple Heart, 1944, and A Walk in the Sun, 1945. Following the war, Conte became a mainstay in film noir. One of his best was called Northside 777, 1948, where a reporter, played by Jimmy Stewart, helped Conte's character get exonerated for a crime. This was followed by Thieves Highway 1949, The Blue Gardenia 1953, Highway Dragnet 1954, and The Big Combo 1955. Conte was amazing as Don Barzini in The Godfather 1972. Conte died of a heart attack in 1975 at the age of 65. Helen Walker played the role of Alicia Brown. I will wait to talk about her role. Walker started working in film with Lucky Jordan 1942 starring Alan Ladd. She was successful with The Man in Half Moon Street 1945, Brewster's Millions 1945, and Spoof, Murder He Says 1945 starring Fred MacMurray. She was selected for Heaven Only Knows 1947, but on New Year's Eve 1946, she picked up 3 hitchhiking World War II veterans. Later, she wrecked, killing one and injuring herself and the other 2. At the trial, she was accused of drunk driving and speeding. Because of the bad press, she lost the role. Walker was found not guilty, but the pushback was such she had to switch to playing more villainous characters. Roles during this period included Nightmare Alley, 1947, Call Northside 777, 1948, and Impact, 1949. Still suffering stigma from the accident, she was lucky to get the role in The Big Combo, 1955, before her film career ended. Her last television show was in 1960. In 1968, Walker died of cancer. She was 47. Earl Holliman played the role of small-time hood Mingo. Holliman was born in Louisiana in 1928. He spent some time in the Navy before going to UCLA and finally ending up at the Pasadena Playhouse. Holliman got his first role in Scared Stiff 1953 with Martin and Lewis. This led to much better films such as Broken Lance 1954 with Spencer Tracy, Forbidden Planet 1956, The Rainmaker 1956 with Burt Lancaster and Katharine Hepburn, Giant 1956 with Elizabeth Taylor and Rock Hudson, Gunfight at the OK Corral 1957 with Lancaster, Visit to a Small Planet 1960, Summer and Smoke 1961, and The Sons of Kate Elder 1965 with John Wayne. In the 1960s, his film roles waned, but he had a good run in television. This includes 4 years working as Angie Dickinson's partner in Policewoman 1974-78. Holliman is still alive. Ted DeCorsa played the role of Ralph Bettini, a missing gangster. DeCorsa often played villains. His debut role was as the killer in The Lady from Shanghai 1947. His large size and gravelly voice tended to push him towards roles as outlaws and criminals. One of his best-known roles was as a gangster who turned state's evidence in The Enforcer 1951 with Humphrey Bogart. Story. The film begins with a swinging jazz intro over a bustling city. With strange angles, strange lighting, and smoke, a beautiful blonde runs out of a boxing match. She is run down by 2 men in suits who call her Mrs. Lowell, Jean Wallace, and say Mr. Brown will be mad. Mr. Brown's employees are Fanty, Lee Van Cleef, and Mingo, Earl Holliman. As they get ready to leave, Detective Sam Hill, J. Adler, is watching from a safe distance. Back at the 93rd Precinct, Police Captain Peterson, Robert Middleton, rushes into the office of Police Lieutenant Leonard Diamond, Cornell Wilde. Peterson tells Diamond that he has spent $18,600 investigating Mr. Brown, and it has to stop. Diamond tells Peterson that he can't stop the biggest gambling ring in the country with the resources he has been given.
Leonard.
Yes, sir.
And there's got to be a stop to your complete disregard of the taxpayers' money.
I paid for this apple out of my own pocket, Captain.
Leonard, you spent $18,600 in the last 6 months investigating one man, a single man.
Brown's not a man. He's an organization. Now I need money to fight money.
Peterson accuses Diamond of pursuing his vendetta because he is in love with Mrs. Lowell. The scene switches back to Mrs. Susan Lowell eating, while Fanty and Mingo sit by and look very unhappy. She sees her old friend, Mr. Audubon, Roy Gordon. Mingo says that when Brown is done with Susan, he will kill her himself. Susan dances with Mr. Audubon and says she has taken pills just before she collapses. Detective Sam Hill picks up the purse she left on the floor. Back at the boxing arena, Mr. Brown, Richard Conte, is talking to a fighter that has just lost. In the room is Joe McClure, Brian Dunleavy, the former gang leader that Mr. Brown took power from. Brown says McClure doesn't have enough hate in him to be a winner.
I feel terrible, Mr. Brown.
You kept fighting, Benny. You've got heart.
Lost 3 of my teeth, too.
All right, so you lost. Next time you'll win. I'll show you how. Take a look at Joe McClure here. He used to be my boss. Now I'm his. What's the difference between me and him? We breathe the same air, sleep in the same hotel. He used to own it. Now it belongs to me. We eat the same steaks, drink the same bourbon. Look, same manicure, same cufflinks. But there's only one difference. We don't get the same girls. Why? Because women know the difference. They got instinct. First is first and second is nobody.
Sam brings the purse back to Diamond, and he rushes to General Hospital where she is under guard. McClure and Brown talk to Diamond and demand that Susan be released to a private hospital.
Hello, Lieutenant. This is Mr. Brown.
What do you want, Mr. Brown?
Joe, tell the man I want her out.
Mr. Brown would like to have Miss Lowell released. He'll put her in a private hospital.
Is he a relative?
Not exactly.
Married to her?
Just a personal friend.
Yeah, visiting days are Tuesdays and Fridays. I don't know how you two got in here. You can get out the way you came in.
Tell the man not to get excited.
As the hospital attendants take Susan by, she says Alicia over and over. Brown makes all his threats through McClure. Diamond goes to Susan's bed and questions her. Diamond believes that Alicia may be the name of Mr. Brown's wife. Sam comes in and tells them that Brown has a writ of habeas corpus, Latin for deliver the body. Diamond orders Sam to pick up all of Brown's men, including Brown himself. They drag all of the gangsters in on trumped-up charges. Diamond keeps asking about Alicia. Diamond has Brown take a lie detector test.
You know, legally, I don't have to submit to this test.
I know. We appreciate your cooperation, Mr. Brown.
And if I say no?
Well, if you say no, I have a lot of questions to ask you. Maybe sitting in that chair for a couple of days. This way I can tell if you're lying in a few minutes.
Well, go ahead, lad. Let's get it over with. Picking me up for peddling without a license. You could have thought of something better than that, Lieutenant.
I'd prefer it to be suspicion of murder, but we had none today.
I would have been happy to accommodate you. A police lieutenant.
And when they say spaghetti, Brown says the name Bettini. Brown also reacts to the word Alicia, but he says it was the name of a horse. Brown demands to be booked or released, and they let him go. Captain Peterson comes in and chews Diamond out for 96 false arrests. He says the Brown case is closed. Diamond and Sam have a conversation about Bettini, Ted DeCorsa, one of the hoods that disappeared around the time Brown took over. Diamond heads to a nightclub across town where his beautiful girlfriend Rita, Helena Stanton, works. She is mad because he hasn't been around for a while.
Oh, you've certainly got on nerve.
Hi, Rita.
What's on your mind? As if I didn't know.
Oh, thought maybe we could go dancing.
I've been dancing, Lieutenant. Furthermore, you haven't been around here for 6 months. And furthermore, if you want a date, do what the others do. Call me first. A week in advance.
Well, Rita, I'm giving a party tonight. I thought maybe you'd like to come.
Party? Who's gonna be there?
Just you and me.
Joke stinks.
But she warms up when he starts to leave. They go back to his place. Rita can see that Diamond is obsessed with another woman, and she leaves. Susan is back at Mr. Brown's place after her time in the hospital. Brown is mean to her and she wants to leave. Diamond gets a message to go see his girlfriend Rita, and when he gets there, she tells him that the gangsters have put a price on his head. When he leaves, he is jumped by Fanty and Mingo. Mingo gets shot in the hand. They take Diamond back to a warehouse, and McClure is there. McClure has to pay off the thugs so he can question Diamond. While he is beating the cop, Brown walks in and takes over. They use McClure's hearing aid and a radio to torture Diamond. They force Diamond to drink hair tonic so he will be drunk. They then deliver him to Peterson's door. After the captain learns the tale, he gets on board with a case against Brown. Peterson says Bettini went straight when Brown took over the gang. Peterson tells Diamond where Bettini lives, and he goes there. Bettini thinks Diamond is a gangster sent to kill him.
Come in. Not yet. Just a minute. That's all I ask, just a minute. Let me turn off the stove. Could cause a fire. Lots of nice old people in the building, okay? I've been waiting for you a long time. You look like such a nice young fella. That Brown sure knows how to pick 'em.
Diamond asked about Alicia, and Bettini says she was Brown's wife who became a drunk. Brown got rid of her on the former boss's boat off of Portugal, and the anchor of the boat was missing. Diamond takes Bettini in for protection, and he reveals that the captain of the boat was Niles Dreyer, and he was paid off and owns an antique store. Diamond goes to Dreyer's store and talks to Dreyer about the anchor purchase.
What can I do for you, sir?
I'm Lieutenant Diamond, police.
Diamond. Expensive name. Ha ha.
The boat was a cabin cruiser owned by Grazzi. It's now being operated by a Mr. Brown. Do you know Mr. Brown?
I had lunch with him last week. He's a very fine gentleman.
He's a hoodlum.
Because I have lunch with him, that is not a crime. I have lunch with anybody. I'm democratic. I'll even have lunch with you. Ha!
Diamond says Brown will kill him if he thinks he talked. After Diamond leaves, Dreyer is shot in the alley by an unseen person. Brown had told Fanty, Mingo, and McClure to pick Dreyer up alive. When he finds out that McClure had the gun, he sends the other two away. Brown takes McClure's gun and sends him upstairs as well. Diamond and Peterson find a negative in Dreyer's safe deposit box and figure the answer is at the shop. When Diamond gets there, Brown is waiting. He has burned the logbook for the yacht where the murder took place. Susan goes to a piano concert, and Diamond joins her there. He asks her to leave Brown. He gives her a photograph of Brown's wife, Alicia. Susan goes home where Brown is counting money. He had a secret room full of money and machine guns. Susan tells Brown that Diamond says he's in love with her. Brown tells Susan that his wife is alive, living in Sicily in the former boss's house. Brown says she was a drunken flirt that humiliated him and then moved in with the former boss. Rita goes to wait at Diamond's house. Fanti and Mingo get the order to kill Diamond. They go to his apartment and accidentally murder Rita. Diamond is ready to kill. He throws Sam to the ground when he tries to stop him. Susan comes by the police station the next morning to see Diamond. She says she knows who did it and she has left Brown. Susan tells Diamond that Alicia is alive. When he sees the photograph, he notices it has snow on the ground. Diamond reveals to Peterson that Brown killed his old boss, Grazi, instead of Alicia.
Brown didn't kill his wife. He killed his boss, Grazi.
They use the highway number in the photo to find the upstate sanatorium where Alicia is living. McClure follows them up. Diamond tells the sick woman that he knows she saw the murder.
Oh, my goodness.
What is it?
Caterpillar. Eating the buds.
Well, why didn't you kill it?
Oh, I couldn't kill anything. I can't even cut these flowers. People want to see them, they've got to come here where they're alive. Not withering and dying in a vase.
You feel that pretty strongly, don't you?
Oh, yes, I do.
I can tell you why you feel that way.
Can you?
Because you saw your husband murder a man named Grazi.
McClure goes to Fanti and Mingo and tells them that the police have Alicia and Brown is finished. He asks the pair to kill Brown. Brown and McClure head to the airport where the murder is to take place. Fanti and Mingo come out and McClure talks crap.
Now, Mr. Brown, how do you feel now? Not so big, huh? You took my job. You took my hotel. You thought you could push me right off the earth. You punk. You accountant. You bookkeeper. Let him have it. Let him have it now. Right now. Wait a minute. What's the matter? You fellas gone loony? I'm McClure. Can't you see me? This is McClure. Don't do it, Mingo. I'll give you dough. All the dough I got, 10,000, 20,000, everything.
The two thugs point their guns at McClure. He begs for his life, and Brown tells him he won't hear the bullets. He rips his hearing aid out, and the thugs riddle McClure with holes in total silence. Diamond finishes interviewing Alicia Brown. They bring in Susan for an awkward meeting between the two ladies. Susan breaks down, and Alicia agrees to talk about the murder. Brown and a lawyer come in with a writ of habeas corpus for Alicia. It drives her insane. When they find McClure's body, Diamond orders them to pick up Fanti and Mingo. Fanti and Mingo are hiding in an old Prohibition warehouse.
Brown will get us out of town until the heat blows out, and then we can come back. How do we know we're safe here? It's the safest place in the world. Grazi built this place in Prohibition days. Not even the bellhops know it's here.
I'm sour on this town, Fanny. When we get out, let's never come back, huh?
What I'm worried about is getting out of this hotel. The cops will be looking for us in every closet.
Brown stops by and gives him food and a cigar box of money. He leaves, and when they open the box, it explodes. A waiter tells Brown that Mingo is still alive. Sam is taking Susan up to the vault when the door opens and Brown shoots Sam down and takes Susan. When he sees Fanti dead, Mingo tells who was responsible for the murder and bombing. He gives them Brown's name. Sam survives the shooting, and Alicia tells Diamond about Brown's getaway plan. Brown is at the airport where McClure was murdered with Susan. A car pulls in, and Brown is trapped against the back wall like a rat. Diamond orders Brown out as he slowly walks through the fog. Susan uses the searchlight on the car to light Brown, who runs back and forth. When Brown is out of bullets, Diamond grabs him. Brown says to kill him because he won't go to jail.
Come on. I'm taking you to jail, Mr. Brown.
You're not taking me to jail. You have to kill me first. Go ahead, shoot. Go ahead, kill me, copper, kill me. Go ahead, kill me.
Let's go, hoodlum.
Two cops come in and take him away as he continues to rant. Diamond and Susan are silhouetted against the fog as they walk away side by side, a la Rick and Louis. World famous short summary: boy loses girl and gets another. If you enjoyed this week's show, please tell your friends, and if you really want to help, drop over to iTunes and give me a review. If you want to comment, recommend a movie, or just say hi, follow the links in the show notes to my site. Beware the Moors.